Doc? Hey, Doc! I'm back!
The lack of a reply slightly unnerved Knuckles as the Echidna made his way inside one of the dark facilities of Launch Base Zone. He had spent the night searching for pieces of the Master Emerald and had managed to find several shards from across the island. Robotnik had asked Knuckles to find him at Launch Base at the crack of dawn, and the Guardian had done just that. When Knuckles entered the dark chamber, however, he barely saw a trap door in the ground. Quickly throwing it open, he jumped down to find a strange laboratory built underneath Launch Base Zone.
What is this place?
I call it my final egg. A home away from home to work on some secret projects in my own headspace.
Knuckles turned with a start to see the doctor behind him. A bit of a surprise.
Huh! Doctor! You scared me. I didn't know this was down here.
Well, I was going to show you, but you found your way on your own. What did you manage to find?
Knuckles quickly fished through his inventory, showing off a series of 6 glowing shards. He'd managed to find 3 in Red Mountain Zone and 3 more in Ice Cap. That was plenty for the doctor, who took 5 of the shards out of his hands.
Excellent work! I'm going to need to borrow these for a bit.
Wait, what? Shouldn't we be fixing the Master Emerald with these?
I am, my boy. Simply in a more roundabout way.
Robotnik moved over to a nearby machine where a strange robot stood. At first glance, Knuckles thought it was an egg robo, but no, it looked different. The Onyx Black robot was taller than even Robotnik, 2 rounded arm cannons in place of its hands. A white stripe was on its chest plate, with a large bolded 101 just beside it. Metal plates hung down around the robot's waist on a belt, the rim of its headplate painted yellow around its dim green eyes. On its left label, however, a hexagonal plate held a small glass dome in place. Gently, Robotnik lifted the glass lid and placed one of the Master Emerald shards inside, closing the lid and pushing it down to lock it into place. Ivo stepped back as an emerald green light began to fill the robot's eyes.
Why have only one Echidna tracking the Master Emerald shards when I can break out my newest creations to join the hunt? Knuckles, I'd like to introduce you to E101 Beta, the first of my E100 series.
All systems online. Ready to serve, Dr. Robotnik.
Hello all, I'm Mechanist Gamma, and welcome back to What If Workbench Expansion Pass, the series where I take an interesting prompt from the Sega Scourge's What If Workbench livestreams and expand it into its own video, sometimes in multiple parts. In this episode, we'll be looking at the second installment of What If Knuckles stayed an Antagonist, originally submitted by Keeper of Monsters and Amelia. Need more context? You probably haven't seen the first part, so I'd recommend checking out that video. But it's been a while, so how about a little catch-up to bring everyone onto the same page? Previously! In an alternate timeline where Knuckles told Robotnik about him stealing the Chaos Emerald from Sonic, Ivo teamed up with the Guardian for far longer than he had originally planned to. Setting up a base on Angel Island for the rest of the classic era, the Doc and Knuckles developed a strong bond. When Sonic and Tails grew tired of Robotnik having himself a safe haven to retreat to whenever things went poorly, they attacked Angel Island and broke the Master Emerald in order to stop Ivo from powering any more robots. But breaking the Master Emerald ended up dropping Angel Island out of the sky and releasing Chaos. Oops. As Sonic and Tails ran off to collect the Chaos Emerald and stop Chaos from attaining his perfect form, Knuckles and Robotnik relocated to Shrine Isle, where they discovered a piece of the Master Emerald and hatched a plan to restore the gemstone. All caught up? Good. Then let's pick up where we left off. The buzz of static was the first sound registered by the robot, as his system slowly activated, basic diagnostics completing as the motherboard equivalent to an artificial brain began to process. The gray and black wall began to clear, granting the newly awakened being a look at their creator, Dr. Ivo Robotnik.
Excellent! All systems, full power!
A pair of emerald green eyes turned back and forth as the yellow-domed head of the robot looked around, getting a good look at the facility around them.
Look at me!
A slight bend as the robot looked down towards their master.
I'm your brilliant creator, Dr. Robotnik. You're the second of my E100 model machines, E102, codename Gamma.
Gamma.
As the robot was woken up and went through the basic procedures, Knuckles sat nearby on top of a box-like structure. The Echidna was keeping a close eye on the robot, just as he had for Beta before. His eyes peered into the android's lapel, looking at the glowing green gem beneath the glass sphere, before looking back up to their emerald eyes, which were now staring back at the Guardian.
Why is...
Hey! Eyes over here!
The robot rapidly corrected their sight path, spinning back to face the Doctor as Knuckles gently hopped down from his perch. Robotnik quickly brought Gamma away from the Echidna, sending him down the same path that Knuckles had seen another robot go down earlier, the shooting range, Robotnik called it. Knuckles had no idea what that meant, but clearly it was effective. As the Doctor returned, Knuckles moved over to talk to him.
Doc, you said I was headed down to the surface, right? That was yesterday. What's the holdup?
Patience, my boy. Once the E-Series is ready, I'll be sending one of them with you to search for the Master Emerald shards.
You just finished the second robot. Why can't you pick one of them to...
A sudden beeping interrupted the two's discussion. Robotnik quickly moved over to a nearby computer screen, quickly interfacing with the sudden alert. As he did, he rapidly tapped into one of the badniks still patrolling Lost World and looked over the feed, searching for the chaos energy signal it had detected. Knuckles looked at the screen from beside the Doctor, and as the chaos energy sign was nailed down, both were shocked by the sight of what they saw giving off those emerald rays.
Is that a frog?
I told you the pinball was a bad idea!
So the physics are a bit more intensive than I thought they'll be. No big deal. Just means we gotta get through, whatever this place is.
The two speedsters had been quite busy since departing from Angel Island, having already retrieved the purple Chaos Emerald from Tails' laboratory in the Mystic Ruins. They'd managed to find the blue emerald in Windy Valley and made fast tracks to Casinopolis upon hearing rumors about the white emerald having been lost in the casino. When a member of the staff had suggested they might be able to help if given the proper incentive, rings they wanted some extra money, Sonic had tried his hand at some gambling and struck out on the pinball, getting the pair of heroes tossed in the literal trash. Now in the dilapidated way, the duo were surprised to see several badniks patrolling the area. After busting some bots and making their way through the trash vans, they reached a long hall with a ladder at the end, the sounds of Casinopolis barely audible through the grate above. But as they navigated the jagged spikes and the trash around them, Tails noticed something laying on the ground.
A Chaos Emerald!
It seems that the staff member hadn't been entirely lying. The white Chaos Emerald had indeed been stashed down below in a place no sane person would go to, yet a place easily accessible from the casino above. With a smirk, Sonic moved towards the gemstone, very excited to rub it in the face of that snobby bouncer. But as he did, he quickly moved his foot back due to some discomfort. The water around his foot, a very shallow track likely filled by the drains of the showers above, sloshed around his shoe. It was odd, almost like the water was beginning to swirl. The moment that Sonic spotted the blot of pink in the water beneath him, he knew what was happening. Desperately, the hedgehog dashed forward in order to reach the white gemstone, but the water pushed against his feet and prevented him from getting a solid grip. As it did, Chaos's long aquatic arm shot out of the puddle, grabbing the emerald. As it did, a light filled the small tunnel. Sonic and Tails now aware they had failed to stop the creature. As the light faded, Sonic leapt back and out of the way as a large bony hand smashed into the ground in front of him. Chaos 1 now loomed over the duo. With a quick whir, Sonic sent himself flying towards the water creature in spin dash form, only to be knocked into the air by a wide backhanded strike. Impacting the wall and leaping off it, Sonic hit the ground right in front of the creature before dashing around to the back and delivering an axe kick through its backside. Momentarily separated from its lower half, Chaos took a swift jab to the brain as Sonic continued his attack. Diving back into the water, Chaos 1 began to swirl the water beneath the hero's feet. Sonic bristled momentarily, raising his knee high as the water brushed against his lower leg. The hedgehog rapidly switched between his 2 feet, too concerned about keeping himself dry to notice the incoming attack from behind. A large claw, the thin bone structure supporting the makeup of the large hand aiming to grab Sonic.
Look out!
That's when Tails leapt into action, striking the hand from behind before Sonic could be grabbed. The fox let out a gasp a moment later, as Chaos 1 surged upwards from the water like a shark, only to be hit on the head by Sonic before it could reach Prower. Shooting to the other side of the room, Chaos 1 quickly attached its arm to the ladder upwards before it began to spin, its aquatic body forming into an orb attached to the long, stretched arm. Like a ball on a chain, the creature began to smash about the room. Sonic and Tails quickly rolled out of the way of the wide swings, avoiding an attack that would have sent them hurtling into the wall. After a few swings around the chamber, Chaos's one hold on the ladder broke and it dropped back into the water. The second it reformed, Sonic bopped it on the head, causing the creature's form to fall apart.
Hey, I'll play with you some other time.
But as the water began to settle, the light vanished. Chaos was gone, but so was the Chaos Emerald. They'd lost the White Emerald, and with it, any leads on where to head next.
I guess Chaos got one of them, but the other two are safe.
That means our tutu is one. Come on, Sonic, we need to get busy.
Sonic quickly leapt up and swung over the ladder, scaling up as Tails followed behind. But the fox looked hesitantly behind them for a moment, staring down at the shallow water Chaos was able to come from. If even somewhere like this held danger, was anywhere safe from Chaos if there was even a drop of water present?
Yo, Tails, let's go.
Right, coming.
The soft hum and distant clanking metal of Final Egg was finally beginning to fade into background noise for the Echidna, slowly growing used to the strange bass. It was still unnerving, having this modernized industrial facility in the beating heart of the island, but Knuckles knew he'd get used to it. Eventually, just like he had with the Doctor. Speaking of Ivo, the Doctor was now standing beside Beta, looking over the robot. Apparently, this one had completed the training course in 50 seconds with a liberal use of explosives. As he talked to the machine, a nearby door opened up, allowing Gamma to enter the room once more.
Ah, Gamma! So you finished. Let's check your time. 36 seconds? Outstanding! To think that the assassin would surpass the commando. You and your brother have both impressed me.
Brother?
Gamma's gaze turned away from Robotnik to look at Beta, almost a charcoal black mirror of himself. Where Gamma bore a single-barrel laser cannon, Beta was equipped with a pair of missile launchers.
Ah, but alas, two enforcers would just slow down our red friend. Beta, Gamma, one, and only one of you will be accompanying Knuckles the Echidna on his great quest to restore the Master Emerald. I wonder which one of you has the guts.
I am the obvious choice.
Beta spoke up. All three in the room, Robotnik, Gamma, and Knuckles alike, turned to look at the presumptuous android.
I possess superior destructive power and am built for combat. If Sonic the Hedgehog is encountered, I will destroy him.
Counter-argument. Brute force has failed to defeat Sonic the Hedgehog before. I am built for precision and stealth. An assassin shall defeat him far easier.
You both raise good points. So why don't we put them to the test,
What do you have in mind, Doctor?
Why, my boy, a simple contest. Beta and Gamma both believe they can defeat the Hedgehog if they come across him. Shall we see which handiwork of mine proves superior? Robots, you are now to battle each other. The victor shall accompany Knuckles, and the loser is of no use to me. Begin!
Knuckles rose from his standing position, holding a glove forward to object to the match, but the robots were already on the move. Beta and Gamma shot back to opposite sides of the room, Beta digging in with his feet as he fired a pair of missiles straight towards Gamma. Gamma rapidly drove out of the way, the wheels on his feet spinning against the metal floor, only to watch the missiles curve towards them. His body twisted rapidly as he fired two shots towards the missiles, destroying them mid-flight, before turning back and continuing his circular charge towards Beta. Stubbornly, Beta refused to move. The robot locked onto Gamma's trajectory, launching a pair of missiles across the chamber towards him. The next moment, Gamma blasted both of the missiles mid-flight, causing a faint wall of smoke to appear in between the two robots. Gamma suddenly surged out of the smoke, leaping into the air over Beta's head. As Beta looked up, arming a new pair of missiles, Gamma fired two shots from his gun. The energy bullets pierced the two missiles still within Beta's arms, detonating prematurely as Gamma landed on his feet. Beta collapsed, falling on his back as the victorious Gamma looked back towards him.
Now that was a match! Gamma, I always knew you had potential for greatness. Knuckles, Gamma shall be traveling with you from now on.
Sure. Pleasure to be working with you, Gamma.
Master registration updated. We shall not fail, sir.
A sudden clank caught the group's attention. Sparking and damaged, his arms almost fully destroyed, Beta forced himself to his feet. He walked over to Dr. Robotnik, looking down at the curious scientist. before kneeling in front of him.
Oh? So you still want to be useful, do you? We could always use some spare parts, I suppose. Knuckles, I have some more work to do, so do run along now.
Taking the hint, the Echidna quickly departed from Final Egg with Gamma in tow. As the bright morning sun loomed over the horizon, Knuckles put his glove over his brow.
Now, where would you find a frog?
Back in Station Square, Sonic and Tails were desperately searching for leads on Chaos Emeralds. The hotel was a bust, so they planned to hit up City Hall and see if anyone among the rich people had heard about a Chaos Emerald. It wasn't likely, but it was definitely a plan. On the way, they encountered a strange scene, to say the least.
Hey, put down my car. I'm on the hour, freak.
Nope, not here. Where did you go, Froggy?
We're stepping in here, right?
Yeah, probably. Excuse me? Mister?
Hi there, my name's Big. I'm looking for Froggy.
What's a froggy?
Well, this froggy doesn't seem to be under this guy's car, so would you mind putting it down? Maybe we can help you find him.
You can help find Froggy? Hooray!
The large purple cat, who had been lifting an entire Honda Accord 1990 over his head, casually placed the vehicle down on the sidewalk. The businessman, clearly in a hurry, scrambled into the vehicle and immediately drove off. In the hubbub, Tails noticed he had dropped something.
Hey, sir! You forgot your card! Oh, never mind.
So, Big, you said you were looking for a, froggy. Is that a person or...
He's my best pollywog pal. Froggy's been my friend for years, but he's been acting weird lately ever since he drank that weird water.
Wait, hold up. Weird water?
Uh-huh. It was yesterday, too. We were taking a nap, and I saw Froggy drinking this weird water. Then he grew a tail and ate my lucky charm. He ran off, and I haven't seen him since.
Out of, curiosity, what's this lucky charm of yours?
It's a yellow rock that glows.
Tails, are you thinking what I'm thinking?
This guy's pet frog ate a Chaos Emerald.
Yep, and probably drank a bit of chaos. We're finding that frog.
Yippee!
A new question to ask set the heroes in a new direction. A bit of questioning informed the trio that Froggy had apparently hopped on a train to the Mystic Ruins, and the guard hadn't noticed until it was too late. Catching the next train back to the ruins, Tails found out from one of the researchers that Froggy had climbed to Angel Island. Making their way to the island, Big managed to trail Froggy into the frigid ice cap zone, where the trio explored in search of the amphibian. Upon reaching an icy lake, Sonic was prepared to move on, only to see Big casually sit down beside the ice water.
Buddy, what are you doing?
Fishing.
Why?
It's a good fishing spot.
Okay, but we have,
Sonic, do you see that?
Narrowing his eyes, Sonic gazed in the direction Tails was pointing to. At the top of the icy cavern the group was currently within, the heroes could see a strange humanoid robot coated in blue and silver exploring the area. One of Robotnik's robots, clearly. Within its hand, it was holding the green Chaos Emerald. They couldn't just let Robotnik get the gem, but the robot had plenty of high ground over them. But as Sonic and Tails debated the plan of action, Big suddenly got a bite and reeled it in with a solid sploosh out of the water. Sonic and Tails turned to see Big now holding Froggy aloft.
Yahoo! I found you, buddy!
Identifying source of auditory disturbance. Spotted. Sonic the Hedgehog.
oh, that's a problem.
E-103 Delta began pressing the advantage early, taking aim and firing round after round of plasma down at the trio from his vantage point. In response, Sonic grabbed Tails and dashed underneath one of the hanging platforms, providing cover. Big, meanwhile, simply ran through the blaster fire.
Oh, oh, oh!
He's fine, don't worry. From their cover, Tails knew he and Sonic would need to come up with a plan, and quickly. Simply flying up would be too dangerous, at least when the focus was on him. So Tails and Sonic made a quick scheme. Lifting Sonic into the air, Tails threw the Hedgehog at the opposite cavern wall, and Sonic bounced right off in spin form, sending him onto one of the higher levels. Sonic immediately began parkouring through, Delta focusing blaster fire on specifically Sonic. With the robot distracted, Tails flew over to Big and picked up the cat, flying him upwards as he held Froggy close. It was clear to Delta by now that he wasn't hitting Sonic with a direct shot, so he took a different strategy. The robot pointed his gun further upwards, striking a row of ice stalactites above Sonic and causing them to fall down towards him. Sonic quickly spin-dashed out of the way, leaping on top of the broken ice and throwing himself up another level. Delta's focus was now on using the terrain against Sonic, while Sonic continued to climb up with little consequence. Upon the Hedgehog reaching one level beneath the robot, Delta changed strategies as he dashed outside of the mountain.
What? Running away? Let's go, Tails!
Right behind you!
Thank you for carrying me and Froggy.
The three ran out of the cave, now exposed to the cold mountain air as Delta began to take off? The robot's midsection opened up as its legs folded, helicopter blades emerging from its midsection as Delta rose higher into the air. As he did, he held out the Chaos Emerald to the heroes, almost tauntingly.
Shoot! Tails, can you fly me up there?
Can't. Too tired. Maybe...
Before Tails could finish his sentence, the cord of a fishing rod lashed through the air. Delta watched in surprise as a fishing hook suddenly caught on the end of the Chaos Emerald. A solid yank tearing the gem from the robot's grasp and sending it falling down the hill. Sonic leapt forward, catching the Chaos Emerald just before it hit the snow.
He's a jerk. You should have that lucky charm instead.
Chaos Emerald retrieval now highly unlikely. Solution, dig it out of the collateral. That's when Delta's blaster charged once more, firing a volley of shots above Sonic's group.
Oh, you missed, Tin Can.
Sonic,
Yeah, Tails?
we need to go!
That's when Sonic looked behind him to see what Delta had really done. An avalanche was now brewing, and it was right on the tail of the trio. As Delta flew off, the three boys began to run for it. Sonic and Tails snapped off some nearby wood planks to serve as impromptu snowboards, while Big tripped. The cat began to roll down the hill at a rapid speed, gathering more and more snow around its form as he did. But Sonic and Tails surfed down the side of the hill, barely escaping the avalanche as they swerved through the icy valley. Eventually, they came to rest at the bottom, and a solid thump signaled Big's arrival, the cat crawling his way out of the snow.
Make that 4 Chaos Emeralds for Team Sonic.
Assuming we can get the yellow one out of Froggy. Big, can we see him?
Sure. Let me just... Froggy? Froggy! Where did you go?
You gotta be kidding me.
Exasperated, Sonic clasped his hands together and took his breath. His annoyance with Big and Froggy aside, the Hedgehog knew they were making great progress. 3 Chaos Emeralds in their possession, purple, blue, and green, compared to Chaos with only the gray. Things were looking up for the heroes, assuming they could find Froggy and the other 2 without much trouble. While Tails began to look around, asking Big where Froggy might have been likely to go, Sonic was taken out of his thoughts by something. There was a strange light overhead. A glowing, pinkish-red orb descending from the sky. At first, Sonic thought the sun was playing tricks with his eyes, but no, it was there, and it was circling around the trio. Sonic moved to point it out, but Tails and Big had already noticed. And suddenly, a bright light consumed the trio. The next moment, a wave of heat washed over the group. Sonic felt the chill of Ice Cap dissipate as he opened his eyes, revealing a wave of green, brown, and yellow. He looked back to check that Big and Tails were still with him. Indeed they were. But this certainly wasn't Ice Cap.
What the?
The heroes found themselves in the middle of a strange, ancient village. And that's where we're going to leave this story for right now. So what did you guys think? Did Gamma's role in this story surprise you? How about Big's? Are you on Team Red or Team Blue? And what's up with that frog? Sorry for the long wait on this one. I wanted to put in the work to make it good while also having some fun playing games I've been wanting to get my hands on for a long time. Super special thanks to the VA team, as almost everyone had doubled the work this time around and pulled it off spectacularly. As for part 3, I'm hoping you folks won't have to wait as long for that video. I've had its events planned out since the start of part 2. I'm very excited for what's coming up next, and I hope you folks are as well. Please share your thoughts with me in the comments below. I've been Mechanist Gamma, and I'll see you guys in the next episode of What If Workbench Expansion Pass. Take care!